Thank you for watching Let's Get Political. I'm, of course, your host, Alicia Reese. Today we have State Representative Felicia Robinson with us. She'll be answering 13 questions. Thank you for taking the time. Question 1. Who is your best friend at the Capitol?
Jesus. But if I had to say, someone that was physically here, I would say Rep. Hart and Rep. Woodson.
Who's your best friend from across the aisle?
Representative Lopez. She's a doll.
What do you do when you aren't in Tallahassee and when you are in Tallahassee but not at the Capitol?
Well, when I'm not in Tallahassee, I am an assistant principal for Miami-Dade County Public Schools. So I'm in the schools every day. And when I am here in Tallahassee but not in the Capitol, I like to shop. Actually, a lot of thrift store shopping. Always love to find a good bargain.
What's your favorite bill that you put forth last year?
I put forth the voter registration database bill. Can't remember last year's number, but what it was going to do was I wanted us to create a database so that people that are are returning citizens that apply to be able to have their rights to vote again would be able to have a database where they can go and look to determine whether they are qualified. It would determine whether they've paid all their fees, whether they've done, did all of their restitution, everything, and will let them know. I felt that it would be a really good piece of legislation, being that we've had some difficulties with giving people their registration cards and making them think that they were eligible and then finding out that they weren't. It didn't get a hearing. So this year I brought it back, but I brought it back as a study. And the study, because what I found is there's so many missing pieces to getting all of this information. So I'm asking for us to do a study to find out how much money it will cost and where it will be best to actually place it.
What's a bill that someone else put forth that you didn't realize you were passionate about until you read it?
There have been quite a few. I think the first one that comes to mind has to do with our military. We did one where it's to help military families, especially when it comes to education, because they travel so much. A lot of times it's challenging moving your children from school to school, but we passed a bill that allows that process to be easier. And I guess being in education, I recognize, it was like an eye opener because you don't really think that it's that challenging, but to see that it is for some of our military families and for us to be able to pass something to make it easier, I really appreciate it.
Do you live in your district?
Oh, most definitely. Proudly lives in my district and love every piece of it.
You're running for re-election.
Yes.
Sum up your campaign in one word.
In one word, the first one that comes to mind is work. I don't know how familiar people are with the campaign process. And some people think that, it's just glamorous and you're just everywhere. But running an effective campaign really takes a lot of strategy, a lot of thought, a lot of networking. It's just a lot of work. And so outside of what you're doing on a day-to-day basis on maybe your profession and actually being elected, when it comes to campaign, that's just another job.
If you win re-election, how do you realistically see Florida in the next 2 years?
Well, I always like to take the positive approach. So I'm going to say that we're going to be a few steps closer to making Florida safe, prosperous for all Floridians. That is my hope and my desire, is to just continuously move us forward.
What's something about the Capitol that a lot of people don't know? A secret spot or a little known fact?
Well, I don't know how many people know it, but I would say my favorite spot in the Capitol is the 22nd floor. And I know some people that have been here know about it, but I don't know how many people have actually been to the Florida State Capitol. And I tell anyone, if they ever come, they must go to the 22nd floor because the view is amazing. It's just amazing.
What's a misconception people have about your job?
Well, when I talk to people, and actually it's so interesting because I had a group of young people from my district here this morning, and I asked them if they know what I do. Most people do not understand what a state representative do overall. So I try to give them the simple version of, we create laws for the state of Florida. But what I like most about the job and what I don't think they understand is that I have a direct connection to state agencies. And so I'm constantly telling people back home that if you're having a challenge with a state agency, such as the driver's license or workforce or the health department or anything that's a state agency, your business license, you can always call my office and I am able to help you maneuver that process because that's what our office does. So outside of creating legislation, that is the main part and the big picture. On a day-to-day basis, how I best serve and help my residents is to make those connections and help them maneuver when they're trying to get something done on a state level.
If you weren't a state representative, what would you do?
Well, my dream job would be I've always wanted to do this, is to work on helping homeless people. So I have this dream to open up what I would call Etta's House. And Etta's House, it wouldn't be housing. However, it will be a place where homeless people will have a mailbox where they can get their mail. The only requirement would be they have to come by and check once a week. They will be able to come and get fresh clothes, shower, for men and women. We would provide a hot breakfast and bag lunches every day. Would have access to computers to update or look for jobs, and give workshops to help you to be able to get back on your feet. And that comes because I had an aunt, her name was Etta, and she used to literally every day go to all of what we call, as Winn-Dixie, but they used to call them quick checks back in the day. And she would just buy food, and you could literally go shopping in her house. So anyone that ever needed something, she was always, oh, you need? And she would make a little grocery bag and give it to them. And I just grew up always remembering that and just said, if I can help someone, and I always think about homeless people, people are not homeless because they want to be. And so my heart always goes out to them and young people that's in foster care. So that I would be definitely something in that area.
What's a fun fact about your job that people don't know?
I would probably take it back to all the connections we have with state agencies. That's fun for me because it helps people. And I enjoy doing it.
What does your perfect day include?
Laughter. I think that when your day is not going quite the way that you want, but if you can find something to laugh about, it changes the mood. It makes the day so much better. When you're feeling down and out, laugh. Sometimes that's one of the reasons I will get on social media, just to find something that can bring a smile, because it changes everything. And when you're happy, then it allows for everybody else to be happy around.
Thank you so much for taking the time to answer these questions.
Okay. Well, I hope I did good.